Anyone else feels like just never leaving your home again and just hibernating inside forever? I mean, obviously I know it's not realistic, and I still do go out every single day whenever I need to. If I don't need to, I do stay inside. What's even going on with the world today? We're just a few days into 2025, and the amount of highly upsetting events, lives lost, is already too much to handle. Fires in LA is a current ongoing disaster. How awful for the animals, for the people. Wealthy or not, when you lose everything you own, all the memories, all the sentimental things that you just will never be able to get back, this is just another different kind of pain that will never go away. Well, I guess the disasters like this don't discriminate. What do you even say to someone who just lost everything? I don't think you say anything. I think you just quietly listen, silently hug, and cry together. Right now it's the Pacific Palisades fire. Prior to this, it's the hurricane and the horrific devastation. Prior to that, there's Lahaina fires, and Lahaina is still, even though it did get cleaned up a bit, it's still nowhere near to being rebuilt. Experiencing these horrible fires and seeing the devastation is one traumatic thing that just changes your life forever. And then dealing with the aftermath, whether it's a home mortgage or property taxes that still need to be paid on basically an empty lot. So horrific, and my heart just hurts for everybody. Since 2020, life just does not feel the same. Since the pandemic happened, the sun doesn't shine the same, the food doesn't taste as good. It's like we live in a different world now almost. Maybe it's just in my head, but I do notice this conversation keeps circulating in a lot of social media posts as well as in real life. I definitely reduced a lot of stress from moving from a big city to a small town, basically middle of nowhere, because nothing hardly ever happens here. So it's a little bit easier to handle things as they come, just not so much overwhelm. But how horrible that people still have to experience this. And the worst part too is that right now we're so focused on this terrible event that's going on and how we can get help to these people basically. It's going to be basically no time until something else happens in another part of the country or the world. Even if it doesn't affect me directly, I can still empathize with others. There's so much going on in the world right now, obviously good and bad, and it depends on what you focus on. But it doesn't undermine how much suffering and pain and horrible things going on in the world. All of this really got me thinking about hibernation, which is basically a state of reduced activity that some animals do during the winter months. With the state of our world, honestly, occasional thoughts of permanently hibernating inside occur. But then, even while you're sitting at home, the world keeps spinning and things keep happening and you keep hearing it. It's kind of impossible to escape from all that. It feels like nowhere is safe, and we keep living in this age of highly historic events. But I also feel like the world is going crazy at an accelerated rate. In order to calm myself down when I just feel a little bit worked up, I love to watch 80s and 90s movies, because back in the day, life seemingly seemed so much simpler. It's interesting to see faces with literally zero plastic surgery, very simple clothes, very simple lives, no technology. It also makes me think of how can I simplify my life even though bad things will keep happening. How can I still focus on the positive and live a happy and calm life? Sometimes it feels impossible, honestly, especially if you're an empathetic person and you care deeply about others and how they feel and what they may be going through. I don't know, if you lived in the 80s, can you tell me if it was just really peaceful and beautiful? Because right now it feels very nostalgic, even though I didn't live in those times. And what I sense from others when I'm out and about is that people are burnt out. People are tired, overworked, underpaid, worried and concerned about the future, the near future, and the farther future. It almost feels like we need a reset, or we are going through some reset, cultural and economic. I try really hard not to watch the news, only the Weather Channel, and still yet the news finds me wherever I'm at. The only things I guess we can do that are in our control is our own lives, maybe our family, our household. Having an unprecedented fire, though, is so incredibly scary, whether you are at home or not. And I often think about the scenario, what would I do if the fire started and I was at home? Now, obviously, I'm a minimalist, so I would probably just grab 2 bins of most important things, if there's even a time, because the way our homes are built right now, it's just some wood and glue, and I think that any home in the US, if it goes up in flames, it is gone very, very quickly. So you basically have minutes, if not seconds. And then thinking about having to restart everything from zero, obviously you can rebuy things, but there's certain memories and things that you just absolutely cannot replace. Sometimes I'm kind of jealous of people who are like so busy with their own life. They're just like work, home, chores. They like have so much going on that they don't even have time for 1 second to stop and think what's going on with the world and others. And then there's people like me who are overly aware of everything and maybe overthinking a little bit too much. I just want the impossible, I guess, which is for everyone to enjoy our life while we're here for a very short period of time. And realistically, no one's life can just be enjoyed for the entire being. There's going to be horrible things that happen. There's going to be traumatic things that happen. Up until my mid to late 20s, my life genuinely felt like it was nothing but problems, struggles, challenges, occasionally sprinkled with some good things happening. One thing I've done since I was a teen is I wrote in my journal. I wrote everything in my journal. And while in the moment I was going through something horrible and I was just writing it all out like a burn journal, at the moment it felt so lonely, so horrid, so awful. But looking back, I can still see how it made me stronger, how it made me better, how it made me the person that I am right now. And then the experiences that I've had, I can obviously relate to others and have completely different conversations. Yeah, and everything just felt like a stepping stone to becoming a new version of myself. This is just an empty throwaway rambling, by the way. Personally, I love when other people put their thoughts on the internet, and then you can kind of think, you know what, I thought the same too. It also made me think that whatever happened to me, it's always been about the way I view it, how I look at it. I can look at it from all kinds of different angles. And obviously, most of the time when something terrible has happened, you are looking at it from a terrible angle. The scary part, though, is when enough bad things happen to you in your life, you just kind of become like, okay, I guess it's something else that happened. It's life. You really do just become desensitized. There's much to say, and there's much that's being said. And there's lots of people who are being sad. But the only way I see it right now is strengthening communities, coming together, helping each other, having empathy towards others, and hope that it's going to bring people closer together. I hope that we all can have a better day.